try to make DEI just basically a corporate policy and say, this is what we're going to do, and you haven't had any dialogue or you haven't gotten buy-in, you're going to have have a problem. And a lot of it becomes this silent pushback. It cannot be a top-down approach. Yeah, it cannot be. And Abraham Lincoln talked about this when he dealt with emancipation and slavery and rights for blacks in the United States during the during the 1860s. He said you have to have public sentiment. If you don't have it, if you don't have the public behind you, you can't get anything done. Once you have them behind you, you can get anything done, right? And that's what. So his timing. His critics would always tell him, "You're taking too long. You're moving too slow." And he would say, "You've got to wait. I got to know that the people are behind this. When the people are behind this, I can move forward unhindered." So what happens is with organizations and society, we just came out. It's DEI time, and we're just going to make it all equal. We're tired of this. We're going to and what we realized was that the public, overwhelmingly, as we've seen, is not fully for it. Yeah, and you're seeing the backlash from it. So that is the challenge that we're having, is how do we have to get the buy-in. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same. I think you have to treat, in this instance, I think you have to treat DEI like you treat any business process, any business initiative. Whatever it is that you're going to put forward, you have to demonstrate that it's going to be profitable. And I think that has to be worked into the conversation. That what we are looking for instance, if I'm an organization, regardless of what my industry is, but if my industry is requiring a degree of innovation, we're looking for growth. There are many studies out there that speak to this, but what you really want is you want diversity of thought. You really want to push past your competition. If you're looking at your competition and you're seeing how their employment, what their employment makeup looks like, and you've got basically all the same looking people, you have a competitive edge to be able to say, if we can harness the diversity of thought, the creativity that can exist from a diverse group, we can actually leapfrog our competition. But the key is, and the challenge is making sure that those groups can effectively work together. But you can always make the argument that you're going to do better. I remember when I was in business school, I remember one of my professors said, if you're in a meeting and you've got 4 people in a meeting and, 4 people are all agreeing and saying the same thing, three of those people you don't need, right? Why do you have them there? You have to be able to have that, that diversity of thought to be able to push into something new and something that's really meaningful. I always look at tech, and I'm always amazed at what has come out in the tech, what we consider tech, right? We pat ourselves on the back for all of these innovations that we have in technology, but when you really look at it, I haven't really accomplished anything. It's really just entertainment. It's phone and apps. Yeah. There are some great innovations that have happened through, for medical procedure, in medicine and other areas, but really from the user experience, we all stand in line for the same iPhone every year. This really isn't an innovation. And I think that the reason for that is because there is just not enough diversity to actually produce something that is actually earth-shattering and different. So that's so I think that the case can be made that diversity is definitely great for innovation. And I don't want to make it too U.S. centric in the sense of examples, but I think Singaporeans will remember this, the ship that crashed into the bridge in Baltimore, because they said there was some misinformation or some misunderstanding about who was piloting that ship. Yeah. They were saying it was a Singaporean who was piloting that ship, or that it was bound for Singapore, or so somehow Singapore kind of got mixed into that event. But there was a lot of commentary and backlash saying that it was a DEI job, and that's why the accident happened. So when DEI is used in that way, when something bad happens and the kind of the code is that if we had someone from the majority doing that job, that wouldn't have happened. Yeah. So the challenge is complex. And when you have a complex problem, and to some people, DEI is not complex at all, okay? It's a very cut and dry thing. It is basically we just want equality for every group to be able to participate in society. Very clean, simple thing. But it's complex on the receiver side. Mm-hmm. And that's where it gets all kind of, twisted up and turned around. What we saw, what I've been hearing recently from people that I've spoken with, and also what I'm hearing just in the ether, is that now DEI has taken this form of being a statement against transgender people. Mm-hmm. And so what people are hearing now when you say DEI is trans. Yeah. And for people who are so hyper-focused on being against that issue, I even had a conversation with someone in Singapore who their child was attending university in the States, and they were there for graduation, for their daughter's graduation during the time that Columbia University, the campus, was having a lot of protests for the Israeli-Palestinian issue there. And so he had mentioned something about, it's just this woke campus, there's all these woke people. And I asked him, what do you mean by that? What do you mean by woke? I hear that word used a lot, but what do you mean? And he kind of got a little uncomfortable when I kind of pushed back on that, because I wanted to, you're saying that these people are protesting a war, but we've had war protests in the United States for years, right? Yes. That's nothing new. So what do you mean by woke? And his first response was, well, it's the trans in the bathrooms thing. And so
unrelated issues.
But that is the wokeism, the DEI thing has been filtered into this. The people who are DEI opposed know that transgender, this issue, is the thing that they can pin to that. And then you have people who are in communities who may feel like, hey, we still haven't gotten ours. We still haven't received our opportunities, African Americans, women. And you're saying now we've got to make room for all of these other people that are being stacked into the inclusion effort. People who are foreigners coming from another country, people with neurodiversity, people with gender, all of this kind of stuff. And so people are saying, wait a minute, I'm not for that because my community hasn't been restored yet. So it is just an incredibly complex issue. And so you even have people who are DEI allies who may find themselves saying, wait a minute, this has gone too far. So this is the challenge. So when you try to make DEI just basically a corporate policy and say, this is what we're going to do, and you haven't had any dialogue or you haven't gotten buy-in, you're going to have a problem. And a lot of it becomes this silent pushback. It cannot be a top-down approach. Yeah, it cannot be. And Abraham Lincoln talked about this when he dealt with emancipation and slavery and rights for blacks in the United States during the during the 1860s. He said you have to have public sentiment. If you don't have it, if you don't have the public behind you, you can't get anything done. Once you have them behind you, you can get anything done.